Awful bright lights in my face, just what I want. And there. Bloody hardware. So, time for a big pug mug of tea. Good stuff. Good stuff. I don't know what the sound quality is like on this. Probably just getting me swallowing loads of crap. But I will endeavour to make it audible. When people get on here, I need people to tell me if it's audible or not. Help myself to a cheeky 99% proof shot of alcohol before we start loosening it up. No, but seriously, don't drink this. Got to get the isopropyl alcohol out because I love it. I love it as part of my paintbrush care regime. Always into hot soapy water. Okay, and then I've got my isopropyl alcohol, and I use like the distilled water, and this is like smart water. Smart water. Well, it's distilled water and they sell it like it's something special. I just use it for making washes and paints because it has no minerals, and as a beverage it tastes like nothing, so what's the point? Just going to update my peeps, let them know that I'm online. Yeah. Page manager. Page manager. Fantasy Forge. Live right now. Come say hi. I won't bite. Publish now. Oosh. And say that social media master. Get behind me, Satan! I'm not sure what my stream quality is like, so I'm just going to head on to the old computer. Lights everywhere. So. It's like YouTubeception, this is like me YouTubing myself, checking out my YouTube. Got one person watching. Hi. What's the sound quality like? Let me know. Switch account. Fantasy Forge. My channel. I'm live right now. Who'd have known? Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Oh look, it's me. Check it out. Oh look, it's me. Check it out. Oh look, it's me. Check it out. Oh look. that was random. Either way, the stream looks clean. So what I'm going to do is mute that shit. And then refresh. Hey, we've got 2 people in the house. 1, 2. Right, so you don't want to sit around watching me bungle on, but I am going to do something very quickly before we start. Okay. That's the benefit of using distilled water, is that when you make a wet palette out of it, rather, it doesn't go mouldy when you leave it. So just a little bit more glacé smart water. Then I'm gonna get one more pot of water, because I always have multiple pots of water, and then we can get onto the task of, oh, it tastes so good, choosing what miniature we're going to do. So bear with me 1 second. That's okay. It smells clean enough. So, like I was saying at the very, very, very start of my video, I always have, clean water, hot soapy water, not hot but quite warm soapy water, and a cheeky shot of isopropyl alcohol. I put this on like a little cardboard thing because I was always knocking the bloody pot over because I'm so clumsy. Right, so everything is working. Got my own big face right in my own face there. Let's refresh that shit. Right, just realised how manky my hair looks, man. I need to cut it. Right, get it out of the way. Now, I'm trying to get some light on the situation so I can show you some of these miniatures. Hey, that'll do. Right, so got a few new miniatures. So we've got classic Oswald the Overladen. I'm not sure if you can actually see that or not. Let me switch camera. So Oswald the Overladen, absolutely love this little miniature. It's got loads of stuff on there, you know, bed rolls, frying pans, bottles, kegs, lanterns, axes, shields. Look, there's a chicken. There's a roast chicken on his back, or a raw chicken. I think it might be a raw chicken. But this dude's got everything. He's got like knives in his socks and weapons, and he's great. I love him. I've also got something that's really tickled me. It's a halfling chef with like a spoon and a pot. I mean, Jesus, this guy must have some back strength. Look at the size of that pot, like full of like dripping broth. And he's like, yeah, just have a taste, like from like waist level. But yeah, so this guy is pretty cool. Got quintessential, like weird looking woman. I mean, this woman's a bit of a scare bear, and I wonder if she's got a fringe down over her face. You know, she looks a bit Muppety, but like she's got 2 Muppety looking children as well, so I suppose, you know, kind of makes sense. But yeah, so it's all good fun. Got some NPCs there. You want to see like the funnest little miniatures that I actually have to date. No joke, alright, no joke. They are so small. I am the proud owner of 2 pewter chickens, and that is on my finger. They are brilliant. They're part of a pack of Reaper miniatures that comes with like, oh god, my hand is in the way. I'm trying to show you the chicken. So this one's like pecking up some seed, and that one's just standing up tall. but they're just little fun things. But yeah, you come in a pack with some like children. So like you got one little git with a stick, a little girl with a sack with some feed, and she's supposed to be feeding the chickens. I think he's supposed to be like chasing them or something. And then in that as well, you got even smaller child, and then like a tiny metal baby which I just dropped on his head. I'm sure that he won't be going to tiny pewter baby school now. But yeah, how small is that? It's pretty tiny, but they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. I'm happy with those, but I won't be painting any of those today because none of them are primed. So I have got some stuff that I need to be getting on with. So I've got this guy. He was really roughly painted for my last session because I didn't really have enough time to make the most of what I was doing with him. But he was sculpted from one of the dwarves that you get from Mantic. So they're like pretty basic sculpts, and I basically had to re-sculpt both of his arms and his hand and reposition his hand and like give him loads of extra weapons. So it's got like the dagger's meant to be there, but then I cloned it and it's got like a dagger there and 2 daggers at the front because he's a specific character. But yeah, and all the hair is all original. That's all new. So I sculpted all that from scratch. It's got like a big beard thing going on. So he needs a little bit of work. Shall I work on him? Or I've got some more Reaper stuff here. Got some pewter miniatures. These guys have been really base coloured. So I've got some bandits. Might need to touch up a couple of bits because these are pewter and they've been chucked in a box like around the top of his head there, or her head. I'm not sure. I think it's supposed to be a chick, but yeah, I might have to touch that up. And you've got this guy's beard's been a bit chipped, but I mean these aren't finished miniatures, by the way. These are just my. Oh god, he's definitely going to need a recoat now. Oh no, he's all right. So these are just like my base coat colours. I mean, these guys, they're all kind of going with like a colour theme because they're part of the same gang. What do we reckon? Now, in the absence of an answer, I'm going to start. And I think that I'm going to start. Oh, apparently I got a notification. That was nice. Right in the middle of my video. That's pretty cool. So I think I'm going to start with the old bandits down there. Right. So I'm just going to take this app here. I'm going to get it into a slightly different thing. Let's quickly buff my lens. Sorry about that. You're going to see me. You're going to see what's going on. That's no good. I'm going to have to change it. Whip. Auto rotate. Just to freak everybody out a little bit. That's better. Have we got enough light on the subject? Well, my fingers are in focus, so that's a good place to start. So, now I've still got these lizardmen to finish up, but I think the bandits, as good a place to start as any. So, I mean, like I said, they're going to need a little bit of cleaning up. I was a bit messy in a few places. This is just a base coat. So what should I do first? Well, first up, I'm going to get myself a little bit of kitchen roll because I am a dry brush fanatic. I find it very, very useful, and quite frankly, I'm not really going to waste my time edge highlighting some bandits when I could just go over the top. So, got my cheap and cheerful, nasty, like pound shop pack of brushes, trusty dry brush. Now this has been super cleaned since the last time. It's almost like feeling like brand new. That's because I use my what's it called, isopropyl alcohol. So as I use the isopropyl alcohol, it tends to get really deep into the fibres. Oh, I'm going to pick up this Skarsnik green. No, not used this one before, so some of my paints are still virgin. Would you believe it? You know. Oh, by the way, while I'm shaking this, check this out. These are some of my adaptations of some of the Frostgrave cultists. No, not cultists. Frostgrave snake men. So this one I've edited considerably to turn him into some kind of like sneaky assassin type. He's got this big flowing cape on. I just based these in Mechanicus standard grey, just so that you could get a grasp of the finished article. Because when you glue a kit together, it's all grey and it always looks unified, you know. And when I'm spraying up my miniatures before I paint them, usually I'd use like black, like Citadel black, and yeah, it's great, but it doesn't really pick up well on the camera. So I'm hoping that this is in focus. Come on, you. Right, focus. There we go. Right, so as you can see, there's like quite a bit of detail on there, and yeah, I'm looking forward to hitting that up with some colour, but not today, my friend. Not today. I have other things on my mind, like what the hell Skarsnik green is. I mean, if someone knows what a Skarsnik is, please let me know in the comments, because I ain't got no shitting idea. So what I'm going to do is take big old blob of green, stick it on my kitchen roll. Basically, I'm going to knock all of the moisture out of this. If you're a miniature painter, you'll know that sometimes it's just easier to make your own dry brush paint rather than using the ones that Citadel try and sell you. I don't like them. They're like jiggly. It's like tofu almost, and it's just probably got more flavour than tofu, honestly. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is knock the moisture out of that, so you're left up with more pigment than you are wet, and then try and knock some of that back out of the brushes, out the bristles. I always do a thumb test, so you can just about see it's picking up on there. Yeah, I might have to change that angle. There we go. Yeah, you can just about see that. So got to be fairly quick though, because if you fart about showing the camera, it'll dry on your brush, and then it's too dry brush. So what I tend to do is go first off from the direction that the light is most likely to travel, which is top down. And what you'll do is you'll naturally start catching all the edges and folds where the light would get it. Okay, so this guy's got quite a bit of this foresty green start on his clothes, so what I'm going to do is go across the back sideways so I don't get on that neckerchief thing, whatever that is. But try and go where the light would go. Now, I'm being quite heavy with this because I'm trying to knock the paint particles out of the brush. I don't have to worry about it. As long as you don't scratch the model with the ferrule of the brush, because that's a bitch, that is. That is a real pain in the ass, especially with a pewter model. because I do get a bit over anxious when I'm doing these and get a bit excited, and next thing you know, can happen. It can happen. I'm just going to tickle his bum. Catch those bits and pieces on the side of his leg. Oh man, I just noticed there's like a big brown splodge where I did his belt. That's nasty. I'll probably have to cover that up. Or I might be lazy and leave it, you know. Oh, I don't want to forget that bit of his arm. Let's see if I can get that in focus. Come on. There you go. So, see how it just like picks out the detail a little bit on his clothes? Just makes them a little bit more visible. So, let's just turn that around a little bit more. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. So, I've just got the back of his bum to do a little bit more because I didn't do it very well. Back of that leg. Side of that leg's alright. You don't have to get this everywhere. I mean, this guy is just a generic bad guy, so I'm not going to worry too much. I'll pop him to one side. Now, usually what I do is I'd actually stick all these miniatures to corks and stuff. I've got the hot glue gun warmed up, but I then realised that number one, I don't have any spare corks because I've got an army of other things to paint, and they're already on the corks. So now this one just needs a little bit. I've got lots of folds and creases, so just trying to pick that up and give the illusion of highlight where the light would naturally fall. Oh, knocking the camera with the end of the brush is not ideal. Now the bits all under here, I'm probably not being even bothered to do those. Might do that knee. Let's get that brush in there onto that knee. I'll clean up that bit of boot in a minute when I dry brush over that, because that's my jam. But yeah, nice little bit of dry brush in there. And the thing is, it's a very simple technique, and it can make the difference between getting your models table ready or not. And quite frankly, you know, even though like I have months elapsed between my games, and I'm not a war gamer, I'm just a D&D man, just a big old D&D man. I will procrastinate, shall I say, because when I've got no time scale, it's like, oh, tomorrow's always another day. I'll get it all done tomorrow. Oh, well, I'll do it on my next day off. And you never do. You've got to make your time for these. And when I do have time to sit down at the bench and award-winning piece, so I try my best to make sure that they're table worthy with as little effort as possible. So I do this because I enjoy it, but I also don't want to spend the rest of my life like tickling some bandit's legs with a brush. I hasten to add some miniature bandit, not a real bandit. I don't tickle bandits. I am not the bandit tickler. Or am I? Alright, so that his tree is a little bit more textured up. They say as long as it looks good from 3 feet away, you're alright. So that is enough for that one. So wash cycle. So nice warm water, because it's a cheap brush. I just scraggle it into the bottom of the pot. Got a lot of bubbles in this today. I think I hit too much water into there too quickly. So just clean it out. I just realised I'm filming the back of my arm, sorry. So once that's all mushed up, what I tend to do is I'll get another piece of kitchen roll. Oh no, this is my last piece. It's my last piece. Get get another piece of kitchen roll or a cloth, which I'd usually have, but I can't find the cloth. And I just make sure I work that dirty, mucky yuck out of there. See, you can just squeeze it and it gets it all out. So another swizzle in there, because there's quite a lot in there because it's a dry brush. Before it dries out completely, what I do is dip it in the ISO, into the isopropyl alcohol. You can really give it a grind because it's a nice cheap brush, and it doesn't really matter if it's abused, because I mean I've been painting this one for about a year now, and like it stays pretty good. I mean, the older it gets, the worse it will get, but the isopropyl really starts to dissolve all the crap out of there. Yeah, again, just give that a little pinch and sort of squeeze the paint out of those bristles, get them all nice and straight. Okay, get all that crap out of there. Alright, now it's getting there. It is getting there, but it's not clean yet. So what I'll do, I'll go into my clean water. Give it a wee swizzle, and that is a 99% clean brush, and that is good enough for dry brushing. So give it a good shake, get any crap out of the ferrule. By the way, if you're here and you're watching, feel free to say hi, ask me a question, send me an insult, whatever tickles your fancy. I will respond in kind. So, big gulp of old pug mug face. Oh, that tea is amazing. Man, if you don't drink tea, you should drink some tea. Go drink some tea. Like after this video, go find some tea and drink it. So anyway, so starting off with Beardy Weirdy over here. He's got like this blue cowl hood thing. I'm not up with like medieval terms for like clothing and stuff. I mean, honestly, I don't know what that is called, but like this blue cowling here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and hit it up with something that makes sense as a lighter version. I'm thinking I don't want to go with a grey. That might be too light. Let's give that a shake. I've got my crag blue here. So. Hey Landvader, good to see you. A chaperon. Okay, well it's probably the same in English because like we have words of our own, just steal them from other countries. So from now on, that's what I'm going to call it. I'm assuming it's a soft ch like a sh than a ch like a chop, but Landvader giving me all the knowledge. I think this is another virgin pot of paint, so I'm not quite sure on the colour yet. I don't know how I've opened this one. Was it my friend? He may have opened it, but I think, yeah, that'll do. I've got it on the brush now. Bollocks to it. So what I'm going to do, just work that in, knock out as much of the water as I can, most of the moisture, turn it into a nice bit of dry brush pigment, try not to soak it up into the ferrules, but inevitably it will. And I'm trying to keep this quite dark because the chaperon, I think he said it was, it's supposed to be like these guys are, they're hoods, they're not here to try and stand out. These are all sort of like dark colours sneaking about sort of. I'm just gonna go over the top of that. Now this is a lot heavier dry brush because it's a fairly dark colour onto a fairly dull colour, but I want to pick it out a little bit. I want it to look a little bit nicer. I might have to go over the top with something like an Eshin grey or something, just to really make that pop. But I'm liking the colour. Don't know if you guys can see that very well, but I can't really do a before and after right now. Yeah, the crossbowman is really good. Really like that miniature. But let me question you about this. How did you get on keeping the end onto the crossbow? Like, what did you do? Because when I did mine, I had to effectively drill and pin to get it to stay where I wanted it. It was a right pain in the ass. I'm going to need a little bit more paint on here. I mean, these miniatures are absolutely brilliant, but because it's pewter, you know, like super glue is pewter is a flexible metal. Super glue is an inflexible crystalline glue, so you know it's strong, but you knock it and it tends to crack, and pewter tends to flex. So what happens? It just moves, and the glue is redundant. So I don't know if that's in focus or not. I'm going to try and get this one a little bit closer for you guys. So, like I said before, when I'm dry brushing, I start at the top where the light would strike. I try to pick out just the areas where the light would strike most. If you find there's vertical ridges and you're going vertically, you're going to get into it. So, try and cut across them a little bit, just to stop you from getting into all of those nooks and crannies. But try and stay in the direction roughly of where you think light would travel, because otherwise your shadows won't make sense and your highlights won't make sense. This is just about making the brush do the work for you. You know, I'm all about quick and lazy. So, see this bit here? Hasn't got any highlight on. This bit has, so you might be able to tell the difference once I start. It's not sure how well this lighting's working and how the picture quality is and all that jizz jazz, but yeah, it should be just fine. And because it's dry brushing, like once it's on, it's pretty much ready to go. You can like touch it and it's like it doesn't come off. So that's not bad. Secondary colour, I wouldn't call that highlight as such really, but it brings it out a bit more. I mean, when you look at how dull that colour is compared to the one on the right, I mean, even if there's bad colour pickup, you can still see the difference. This guy seems to have a bit of exposed pewter on his arm, which is a bit of a shame, but I might just get away with brushing over the top of that because I'm lazy, and after the next game this is probably all going to need repainting anyway, because end of game I tend to toss all my minis right into a box, and like all the time I've spent making them look good is wasted because I'm a lazy packer, and it all gets packed away into one box and then I pick it up later and go, oh no. Now, this bit is a little bit tricky, so what I'm going to probably have to do is get a little bit more pigment. I'll notice I try to keep the lids on these bloody Citadel pots because they will spill very easily. And if you're a clumsy oaf like I am, it's all too easy to just lose like 6-7 quid's worth of paint. Which doesn't sound like a lot until you need that paint and you haven't got any, and the shop's closed and you go, ah. I'm trying to miss all the other stuff that I shouldn't have painted first, but I wanted these a little bit coloured for the last game. So I quickly brushed them, got the base colours on, go. I'm missing the majority of the bits I don't want to change colour. Oh god, his pouch is really light. I'm going to catch that. Get inside that arm. Sorry about my focus at the moment. I'm trying to keep this in focus, but naturally my hand is moving around as I'm painting this because I'm not used to painting in one fixed spot. But yeah, so it's definitely looking a little bit more colourful. I think what I'm going to do now is give the brush a bit of a wash, go through the rinse cycle again, and then I'm going to hit up with some light browns. So I think that they were based with Scrag Brown, and I could go down the road of Deathclaw Brown as a dry brush, but I don't really think that like Deathclaw Brown is going to be too big of a step up. You know, I don't think that's going to be too nice of a highlight. So I think I'm going to have to go lighter. I might have to go to either something like a Xandri Dust, or I might have to try something like Acadian Flesh Tone. Hey Lamvader, if you're still watching, thanks for dropping by, man. Can't wait to see that puppet. So I think I'm going to go with Acadian Flesh Tone as a highlight on these leathers and see how it looks, because I don't really have much choice. Let's see if I can get any more of this pigment out of here. Get that pigment out of here. Get that pigment out of here. I always feel so self-conscious when there's just no noise in this room. I usually work with music. I tend to start making my own, so I apologise to people for that every time. It would be remiss if I failed to apologise this time. But let me know if you like my singing. If you do, I will find appropriate mental health facilities for you. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Hey, I don't know who's watching, but hello, feel free to say hi, let me know who it is so I can share some love. Just letting that soak a little bit, if you just joined me. So you can see that the end of that is looking particularly frazzled because I've just been treating it mean with the old isopropyl to get the crap out of this brush, because I'm dry brushing it, and this is my favourite dry brush. It's the cheapest piece of rubbish that I've bought, but it is great. It was part of a multi-pack, and its combination of stiffness to softness makes for excellent dry brushing. So I've done my hot soapy water wash. I've done my isopropyl wash. And now it's time for my rinse, which is just clear water. It's always important to get the clean water rinse done right, because if you leave the isopropyl alcohol sitting in your bristles, it tends to it will condition each individual fibre, but it will tend to make them stiffer, and it will also dry out the paint that's in the bristles. So even though you're dry brushing, you don't want it immediately to evaporate off, otherwise you end up with like crusting in the ferrule or down by the base of the ferrule, and that will basically make all the fibres splay out and end up with a messy dry brush. Right, that is as clean as it's going to get. So let's try this Cadian flesh tone. Let's get a little bit out. So if I take a little bit of that and I splodge it about, I'll try and turn it into a dry brush. That might just do it, you know. That might be my new go-to for tan. I don't know who the Cadians are. I'm not a Warhammer person really, but their flesh tone is rather bronze. So let me just start by dry brushing over the glove in the direction that light would strike it naturally. Okay, so that looks alright. So now I'll go down this gauntlet, across the glove a little bit, trying to avoid the hilt of the weapon, going to the back here. Okay, so I might have gone a little bit overboard on this first hand, but it'll do, it'll do, it'll do. Now let's get this guy's boots. Let's get the toe, get the front. It's literally, I'm not trying to change the colour here, I'm just literally trying to pick out the highlights. That's all I need to do. Now here I got a bit messy for some reason. When I was doing the sword, I think I must have slipped because I've got all crap onto the back of his boot, which is frustrating. I have to touch that up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a lazy arsehole. I'm going to get one of my starter brushes, give it a lick, give it a stick with a little bit of paint. I'll try, just do a little bit of a lazy blend out, cover out that pewter, and then what I'll do is once that's dry, I'll buff the region. While I've got this little brush out, I'm going to just quickly add a little bit of surface tension to that, into those fingers, just while I've got it in hand. Okay, so that's that. That looks alright. What I need to do though, get a little bit more paint onto the old dry brush bit of paper, and I need to quickly get a bit more to shine there, a little bit on the nose of his shoe. There we go. Pick up that highlight that I left there. And we're good. We are good. I'll put some flesh tone on his face as well, because it's flesh tone after all. And that works as a really nice little face highlight actually. I already did a quick wash on his face last time to just make it a little bit more obvious where his details were. Now I need to do his beard at some point. Now, this guy only really has like one boot exposed that I need to worry about, so I'm going to take a little bit more of the Cadian Flesh Tone, load up this dry brush palette once more. Right, so that is vaguely in focus. There we go, that's as good as I'm going to get, I think, in terms of focus and light. Right, so what I'm going to do is just going to give this boot a little tickle, just a little tickle. There we go, that'll do. Just a little tickle. That's good. Now it's to the boss. This guy's got quite a bit of leather on him. Come on, focus, you piece of crap. There we go. Right, so if I start at the boots, just to see how much this flesh tone is left on here. Not too bad. It looks like this guy's got some kind of like leather braces on the front of his boots, or metal braces, I'm not sure what they are, but I will possibly pick those out a little bit later. There's a little thing that his dagger sits in, a little sheath. And he's got some gloves. So those gloves might want just a little tickle. Just a little tickle. Just a little tickle. Just pick out those highest points. Make those fingers a little bit more defined. There we go, and he's got a beautiful man bag here as well. So if I hit that up with the scrubbing motion, that's my definitive large leather brush up styles. And a quick general tickle over the front, give him a quick polish on his face because it is flesh tone. There we go. Yeah, so I'm pretty pleased with that as an NPC. Right, so what needs to be done? What must be done? I'll tell you what must be done first. I think what must be done is I must clean this dry brush a little bit more because it is getting filthy up in here. So wash cycle first, wash that cack out as possible. And the blue really stained this bristles, but they're coming clean now. I always use a little bit of hand soap even with my water and my warm water, because hand soap, not only does it smell nice, it's also a surfactant, and what you're basically trying to do is get these tiny particles out of the bristles, and a surfactant is exactly what you need to do that. So that should just about do it for the bubble bath wash. We're throwing it about. Then it's the isopropyl. Get a bit cloudy, but I'll keep using the isopropyl alcohol up to the point where I have to use metallics, because once you start getting metallics into it, you're just going to need to think twice about what else you put in there, because you're going to start getting little particulates of metal in your other paints, and all you're going to end up doing is giving everything a light sparkle, which might be your thing, but let's put it this way: you should only put a light sparkle on things that you want a light sparkle on, be that what it may. Oh, I've got a dog hair in my isopropyl. Or is it one of mine? I think it's a dog hair. But wait a rascal getting his hairs into my paint. So now it's the rinse cycle. A really good rinse. Bit of a shake. Get the crap out the ferrules. Last wipe down. Nice clean brush. Oh yeah. So, what was I going to do next? I think that these guys need a lighter dry brush onto the top of their blue cloaks, etc. So I think what I'm going to do is, I might go in for like a dawnstone, but this one seems to be like not closed properly. I may well blame my friend. Give it a good shake and hope that what remains inside that is undamaged, and that it remains inside and doesn't splat out and get all over me. Yeah, it's a little bit thick, but it's not gone chunky, so we'll forgive him. More like a paste. So get that on the old dry brush bit of paper. Get onto there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this geezer, or geezerette. I'm going to start from the top. A really light dry brush, just trying to pick out the very top of her hood. And this is like almost like a dusting, like a shimmer over the top. Because I don't want this cloak to start looking bright and dazzling. This is, after all, a cloak to cover someone and give them a little bit of cover in a dark alleyway or up in a parapet, so that they can rain down crossbow bolts onto someone. Last thing I want to be is super visible. Just going to focus a little bit across the shoulders, and a little bit more on the head, just where the light is going to strike the most. I think that, and it's pretty respectable. So I shall continue to do the rest in a similar fashion, but I will need a little bit more Dawn Stone. It's dried up already. I think this is what happens when you don't close your pot. You get like drier paint, which is fine, you know, it's fine. And add a bit of water to it. It's not like the white goes like chalk. It's the only one in the range that seems to do that. But if you don't close the lids properly, they will evaporate off fairly uniformly, and you'll have like a skin on the top with some of them, or sometimes they'll just go sort of pasty. Alright. So just add some details. Alright, there we go. So a point for you guys. So I'm just gonna strike from top to bottom and try and pull out some of that detail in the shirt that someone has so kindly sculpted it. Nothing worse than miniatures that are just flat, they've got nothing. And this guy has got some nice natural folds in his fabrics. Looks very good, very realistic, gives me something to pick out so I can paint more lazily and get stuff done. Gets back in focus. I tend to drift when I'm painting, I'm sorry. It's very unnatural painting in the same place. Trying to do it to a camera. It's got a limited field of focus. I'm getting like his belt and his tunic and everything here, but it's fine. I'm just trying to pick out all those details on the belt too, because they will be happily picked up by the same colours. What do we reckon to that? A little dry brush on the front there just picks out those folds. And on the back. Come on, focus. There we go. So Lazy Man Painting 101. Always follow the pattern where the light goes from top to bottom. Unless, of course, you are doing some kind of object source lighting, which is a whole sphere of paint work that I'm not going to even tackle because I don't have the acumen to do it. And I don't have the qualifications to talk shit about something I have no experience of. If you're watching out there, feel free to say how do, ask me a question, criticise, make fun, whatever. Just don't be afraid to say howdy ho. So this guy, I'm just going to hit up the top of his head a little bit more. Alright, we'll call that guy. Come on, focus. There we go. We'll call that guy provisionally done. Need to redo his beard. His chainmail's already done, that's a nice touch. Don't have to do that. So I did it last time. But he does need his beard doing, so do you know what? I'm going to put this into soak. And stretch their old hands out. Right, the old bone's working. Now, this guy's beard is supposed to be like a black and grey, but I seem to have dry brushed over it with face colour. So what I'm going to do what am I gonna do? I don't really want it to be jet black, so I think I'm gonna have a go with some Eshin grey. I'll just give that a shake up. So I've been at this for the best part of an hour, and my 3 models are way better than they were when I first started. Oh, it's a virgin pot. Oh yes, not used this one before. So use this cheap and cheerful brush. Smudge some of that paint off. Check the consistency. It should be alright. I'm going to try, if I can get it in focus, to just lightly pick out the bits that I've accidentally hit with the flesh tone. So I'm not going back over with the black, and I'm edge highlighting his beard at the same time as I'm rectifying a mistake. And that is actually not too bad. See, this guy's got like wee little eyebrows right up in there. Should I be brave? I think I'm gonna have to try and be brave, but not with this brush. Washy, dunky, washy, rinsey. So I'm going to try my other brushes. It's a little bit smaller. It's a fairly new brush as well, so hopefully. God, look how fast that paint dries on my thumbnail. It's ridiculous. See, this is why I'd usually use a dry palette or a wet palette, because you can't just do everything off your thumbnail because it all dries off so quick. His eyeball's done, but I put a dot of grey on his nose. It's okay, it's gone now. Curse your notifications. So that's his eyebrows done. His eyes look weird now because he's got no nothing. He's got no life. So next up, I'm going to take this little geezer. I'm going to try and give him some, I'm going to try and give this guy some eyebrows now. Now, I don't really want to give this guy grey eyebrows, that's weird. It's weird. That is weird. So I am going to go for some Mornfang brown. Why do I keep getting notifications that aren't related to what I'm doing? The next Take 5 nibber, I don't know what nibbler is, but I know what Take 5 is. I will be doing another Take 5 probably after I've got this next game out of the way. So on the 24th is my next game of D&D, of which I've got plenty of stuff to prep for. But once that's out of the way, I will be attempting to get another Take 5 video done, because I had one like 90% done and then I basically lost it to the gremlins that live in all of my technology, so I'm gonna have to start again. You may well remember ages ago I did some flaming brazier, or some braziers, and then I promised flaming braziers. Well, that was my next take 5. It was quite a technical build, so it turned into more than a take 5, and as the video grew in length, the phone struggled to cope with the volume of data and subsequently had a tantrum and lost it all. But is this even in focus? No, it's not. Come on, phone. Do your job. Do your job and focus. There we go. Right, so tiny man, just about in focus. I'm gonna try get some eyebrows. I'm actually stippling these on. Yeah, I do intend to get a PC camera set up at some point, but not right now because I am not a rich man. It's been a very expensive year this year. Everyone I know, of course, has turned 30, just as I have. And by the way, those are my attempts at eyebrows, and yeah, they're alright. Oh yeah, everyone I know has turned 30. We've had a lot of people turning 65, like parents, people and things, and been a very expensive year, so there will be no camera setup changes this year. Perhaps in the new year, if I get a few more subscribers, it might make it worth the investment, but right now it's a tough time for the Fantasy Forge. We are sitting at 97 subscribers, which is good. Every subscriber a valued member, but we aren't hitting the 100 people mark yet, so unfortunately I just can't justify spending any more money on it at the moment. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to break out the model color white from Vallejo, because this stuff, unlike the Citadel Ceramite White, which you can see is separated into a weird grey sludge and some chalk, fucking wank. Really hate that paint. Just hate it. So the Vallejo stuff is actually nice to paint with. It's lovely. It's got a great texture, and it smells like grape, which is also nice. I think Vallejo might be a Italian guy, so I'm assuming he's just like ground up some grapes to make his paint, which I approve of. Now I'm going to mix this with a little bit of extra water that's sitting in my wet palette so it doesn't dry out. Take a bit of water from over here. I get this nice and thin, but not too thin. Now I'm going to then wash that brush out, because that is too big of a brush for doing eyes. I mean, you wouldn't have thought so if you're not a painter, but that is a very small nib for a normal sort of paintbrush. Come on, focus. What's wrong with my life? There we go. Very small nib, but it is not small enough. I've got to go to the extreme. So, I mean, this thing comes in like its own house. You know, it's like weird triangular grippy brush with a special double case on it. You know, this is the Psycho war game about the Psycho. I mean, this it shouts a big shout, but whether it will be worth it in the long run, I don't know. So might be able to do this. That seemed to work all right. Ah, assholes. Always happens. First eye goes alright, second eye twitch. Smudge. Ruined. Ruined. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Right, let's try that waltz again. Clean the cacophony brush. Go through the white. I told this guy a weird angle to get the eyeball right, I think. And that was still a bit of a mess. So what I'm going to have to do is repaint over that at some point. Let me do the rest of his face. Oh, eyes, why are you so hard to do? So this guy. I'm going to attempt to do his eyes now. And they're even smaller. So that will do. Go back into that one later. This person's eyes are hidden, which makes it really awkward to bloody get in. That's probably the best job I've done so far. So, this is the problem when you're doing eyes, is that they are so small, they are often a massive pain in the ass. But there are a few techniques to get around it. Most of them involve painting half the face white and then repainting what isn't eyeball back to flesh colour. I'm going to just quickly do this dwarf. one eyeball. Let's try fill the other one, shall we? That'll do quite nicely. Okay, so now it's time to just quickly rinse that brush out. Get some of the cack out of this brush. And this tiny brush is a bitch to clean, but never mind. I'm going to try and do this coat back over the surface of this face, because as you can see I've got a big white splot down his face twice in a row because I'm a tit. So I'm not sure what colour I went for. I went Kislev Flesh, didn't I, originally? So let's get the Kislev Flesh out, give it a shake and see if I can't patch this face up. Oh wait, no, that's what I should do. I should do the pupils first, and then I'll do any face repairs, because I'm bound to splodge everything with the bloody black. So I've got my Abaddon black. I'm going to take a wee squadge of that and put it in there, which is my wet palette. I don't know if this is going to be in focus, but it doesn't matter if it cooks up. That's not going to work. The enemy brush is all splayed. That's the wrong miniature. Come on, get it together. And that will do for one eye. Now the trick is getting the second eye to match up. And I'll just about do. Now these guys' eyes are going to be a real challenge because they're teeny teeny eyes. do. I think, might have to put a bit more colour on that one. I think that'll do. Bloody hell. I hate when this happens. Spend so long getting to the actual eyeball that the paint dries under the brush. Don't think that's too bad. That's what I need to do now. Clean that brush out. Now I'm thinking of investing in some of that brush cleaning soap. Just for these extra teeny weeny brushes. Because I want to keep them clean and keep them nice and neat. Alright, so black lid back on. Kislev flesh. Pre-shaken Kislev flesh, that is. So just a wee driblet into the wet palette. That should do it. That'll do, I think. Grandpa Scroggins needs a bit of a touch up here and there. This one just looks terrified. That's fine. It's fine to be scared. These are the scary times. Someone sticking in the face with a giant paintbrush. What could be fun? What could be more fun? Giant paintbrush to the eye? That's nothing. Just realised I didn't do the dwarf's eyes. It looks like I'm going to have to go back to the black. Just real quick. Why am I so freaking shaky?